Dear Ukrainians, dear people, today is the Independence Day of Ukraine. I am now here in the heart of Kyiv, on Independence Square, and it is here that you can feel what independence truly means. Why is it so important to us? And why Maidan is much more than just the main square of the country? Because it is a symbol of independence, its guardian. This is a place where history is always made, the energy and strength of our people are born. At a time when independence is under threat. And now, when there is a full-scale war for independence, it is here, on the Maidan, that you can find such important symbols. Symbols of how we fight, what we fight for, and how we overcome this war. These symbols are all around us, in this monument to independence. Inside, it has a reinforced concrete frame and is really able to withstand a hurricane. In the same way, our Ukraine withstood the great disaster that Russia brought to our land. This is the 0 kilometer. It is the starting point of measurement where the distances to Ukrainian cities are written. To our Donetsk, our Luhansk, our Crimea. And today these marks, they have a completely different meaning. They are no longer just about kilometers. They remind that all this is Ukraine. And there are our people, and no distance between us will change it. And no temporary occupation will change it. And one day this distance between Ukrainians will disappear. And we will be together again, as one family, as one country. It's only a matter of time. Ukraine believes that it will be able to achieve this, to achieve peace. Peace throughout its land. Ukraine is capable of this because Ukraine has character, the endurance of stone, and a look that we do not turn away from. And hands scorched by fire and time, but strong. Hands that hold the shield and protect what is theirs, their land, their culture, their 1,000-year history. The proof of which is the founders of Kyiv. We are defending our future, for which our heroes gave their lives. Names that we will not forget or betray. Names that defended independence. And it is here, at Maidan, that Ukrainians often bid farewell to heroes carried on shields. And everyone who has been to such a farewell at least once, and everyone who has lost someone in this war, has their personal reckoning with Russia forever. And they promised themselves not to forget their heroes. The personification of such an oath is this field of national memory, a field of great power. Because in every little flag is someone's big story, deed and choice. The choice in favor of Ukraine, in favor of the future. Namely, freedom in peace. And peace in freedom. This is the philosophy reflected in our culture by the image of the Cossack Mame, who gained freedom and, therefore, can lay down his weapon and take up the kabza. Just in case, holding the saber close. But returning to a peaceful, civilian life is something that we all strive for, and we know. No one will give this as a gift, it can only be fought for. This is exactly what we have been doing for 1,278 days of this war. The war of independence. For each of these days, I want to thank you. A Ukrainian soldier, a Ukrainian volunteer, a doctor, a rescuer, a teacher, our youth, our parents, every Ukrainian man and every Ukrainian woman.
Українець та кожна українка. Дякую вам всім.
Thank you all for what we have already gone through and for the Ukraine that we are creating together. For the Ukraine as it is now, which became an adult on February 24th. It took fate into its own hands, took up arms, had no time to hesitate and had no right to be afraid. And it really stopped the Second Army of the world. We will talk about it. We will, because it kills the myth of the invincible Russian army. We have proven it. We continue to prove it now, each in their own way, each person who carries independence within themselves. Who defends our right to be Ukrainians with their work, their deeds, their achievements. Today, independence is tempered on the battlefield. Independence covers the sky every night. Independence doesn't sleep, working around the clock at defense enterprises. Because it is so important that our soldiers have everything, that independence has everything to defend itself. Independence, at the wheel, on the road, to those in need. It is on the pages of books, in the words of poems written by Ukrainians. When, every day, we hear from the enemy, there is no such state, there is no such nation, and every day we prove the opposite. We prove that Ukrainians are here, and Ukrainians will remain on this land, in this square, where in 100 years our next generations will stand. And in 100 years, the Independence Day of Ukraine will be celebrated here. It will be this way, because Ukraine is different today. Ukraine is stronger and respects itself. And Ukraine does not wait for gestures of goodwill, but has its own will to implement what we need. And when Russia wants to take Sumy region, Ukrainian army appears in the Kursk region. When the enemy strikes our energy sector, trying to leave us without light and heat, their oil refineries go up in flames. No one can forbid us from such strikes, because it is justice that strikes. Just like when Russia attacks us every day, our peaceful cities, our hospitals, our schools, kills our civilians, our children. Then it gets a spider web in response. And that's how justice strikes. This is how Ukraine strikes when its calls for peace are not heard. How many times have we offered a ceasefire? How many times have we said, we want peace, we strive for peace, but a just and comprehensive one? And that is why we rely on the strength of the entire world. This is the Ukraine now. This is the Ukraine that will never again be forced into the shame that the Russians call a compromise. We need a just peace. What our future will be is for us to decide, and only us. And the world knows it, and the world respects it. It respects Ukraine, perceives Ukraine as equal. Ukraine, which can really gather and unite the leaders of the world around it in a day. Ukraine, with which the US and the whole world want to jointly produce drones. Ukraine, which has restored the unity of Europe and the United States and is now the basis of this union. Ukraine, which stands its ground and can defend itself. Therefore, Ukraine is heard, Ukraine is reckoned with and listened to. Its place is at the table. They don't tell Ukraine, wait outside the door. They tell, it's for you to decide. This is the kind of Ukraine I had the honor to represent in the United States a week ago. Today, both the United States and Europe agree. Ukraine has not yet won, but it certainly will not lose. Ukraine has won its independence. Ukraine is not a victim, it is a fighter. Ukraine does not ask. It offers alliance and partnership. The best army in Europe. Advanced defense technologies. Experience of resilience. We say we need the EU. But the EU needs us no less. Everyone acknowledges this, and this is how they recognize Ukraine. Not as a poor relative, but as a strong ally. This is exactly what the coalition of willing is about. This is what Washington was about this and how to ensure a lasting, reliable, and enduring peace. Ukraine will receive it because it will receive security guarantees. Strong enough that no one in the world could even think of attacking Ukraine. This is not only our goal. This is exactly what we want and have to pass on to our children and grandchildren. A strong Ukraine, an equal Ukraine, a European Ukraine, an independent Ukraine. To finally break the vicious circles of history in which every generation lacked something to preserve independence. And each new generation entered a new cycle, once again forced to take up arms, once again having to defend itself and reclaim freedom. We must not pass this on to future generations. We are building a Ukraine that will have enough strength and power to live in safety and peace. So that on this square, at the Maidan of our independence, under our own flags, on our own land, our children and grandchildren celebrate Independence Day. In peace, in tranquility, with confidence in the future, and with respect and gratitude to all those who defended Ukraine in this war. The war for independence. Those who stood firm, who could, who won, such a life is worth living. This is what we stand for. Happy holiday to you, great people of a great country. Happy Independence Day. Glory to Ukraine.